What's going on, everyone? It's Bales and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy video on the channel. Today we'll be going through the usual Wednesday trade talk, but also going through the round review. Obviously with the shorter week this week, I thought I'd combine the two. I just recorded this whole video and apparently didn't record the audio, so 27 minutes of my content down the drain, which is fantastic. So we'll get stuck into pretty much what I just said before, and hopefully in this video, so hopefully maybe a bit quicker, and hopefully I won't bore myself. But yeah, let's get stuck into how I went in round 4. 1946, not the best score. First round this season I'd gone under 2,000, so I was having an okay start to the year. This would have been a good round to maybe make some ground up and maybe move inside the top 10,000, but not to be. Plenty of poor performers. Round rank of 36,500 essentially, and yeah, dropped about 3,000 spots, maybe I think 3,300 or 3,200 spots I think it was in the end. So yeah, not too great. +3, got to go the man Harry Sheezel. He's just so good, isn't he? 119, 400s in a row, and he just looks fantastic. So not getting rid of him anytime soon. He's definitely putting a lot of people here to shame. My top scorer for the week. And yeah, Tim Taranto and Tom Green, probably other good noteworthy performers as well. And Finn Callahan as well was very, very good with an 88. I'll definitely take that considering I had to hold him. -3, it's got to go to my mate Roy Laird. Like, he's 3 games under 90 so far this year out of 4. Didn't go under 90 once last year. So just shows really how poor his start has been. I'm hoping that he responds this week. He plays his favourite team to score against in Carlton, averages 107 against them in his 12 games. So fingers crossed for a bounce back. But me and the 35% that started with him, I think it might be a little bit more. Started with him at the start of the year, we've lost a lot of money, and we've also got poor scores in the process. And we could have saved ourselves about 80-odd K and gotten ourselves Clayton Oliver, who is the number 1 player in the game. So, but yeah, unfortunately, stuff like this happens in fantasy. But yeah, a few other poor forms. We'll get into that as well. Just quickly go through these players. I already did it, as I said, but we'll go through it again. So Docherty, poor score, 74 as a VC. Obviously, we now know that he's out for 4 to 6 weeks with a torn meniscus. Had surgery today, so he will be a forced trade for me this weekend for a lot of coaches. Well, every coach has got him. Tom Stewart, 70. I expect a little bit more, but I sort of had a feeling, does he get tagged? He didn't get tagged, but sort of it was a team defence approach towards Tom Stewart. They didn't really allow him to get involved in the +6s. It was all Duncan, obviously, and a few of the other defenders. So he'll be good in the long term. He's a 90-95 guy and has shown he can push 100 average, and he's got a ceiling. So he'll be fine, but not great on debut. Andrew McGrath, 65. If it wasn't for Will Day and Docherty going down, he would be gone for me. He just hasn't been the pick, and I went McGrath over Dakos, and that's cost me a lot of points. So yeah, not great with McGrath. I'm probably going to have to hold on to him for another week unless Will Day either gets off or only gets a week and I decide to hold and the Cowan goes big. Then I can potentially get rid of him. But yeah, not great. Talking about Will Day, though, fantastic again with 99. I don't think that was a 2-week suspension, by the way. I think it was a week, if that. It could have been just a fine, but yeah, what are you going to do? Hopefully Hawthorn challenge it and we'll see how that goes. If he gets a week, I'll probably hold. If he gets 2 weeks, it's going to be a bit more of a decision. I'm probably going to have to trade him at that point, and I'll go through my trades later on. But yeah, at this stage, that would be what would happen there. Liam Stock at 88, very happy with that as well. Good matchup as well. Collingwood a bit of a tougher matchup, and Ed's got some tough games on the horizon, but I'm probably going to have to hold with these forced trades. Ruben Ginby, 48. Obviously, you could see he was a little bit tired there against Melbourne. Could be rested in the next week or two. He's another one that is going to be a bit of an issue. So, funny enough, McGrath, Docherty, Will Day, Stocker, and Ginby are all presenting issues. And then Cowan and Wilmot. So, the only one really that's fine there is Stewart. And I only just brought him in. So, my defence has gone to shambles. And that's pretty much everyone's defence has gone to shambles, I think, this week. Roy Laird, obviously, we talked about him before. 84. Hopefully, bounce back this week. But yeah, not great to start the year. Lost a lot of cash. Tim Taranto's been great to start the year, unlike Laird. 109 points after 3-quarter time as well, so really saved his score in the last 3 quarters, but he's just been great. Hasn't scored under 100 all year, and hopefully he continues to keep pumping out these tons. Bont finally broke the curse of going under 100. He got a 108 thanks to 12 tackles, which is massive. Still had one bad quarter with only 9 points, so 99 points in 3 quarters. It could have been anything over 120 if he had a half-decent third quarter, but that seems to be a bit of a trend with Bont. He's having a quarter where he goes less than 15 points and more often not less than 10 points. That's really costing him from getting those 110 plus scores. So Hopefully he can start putting some quarter performances together, and hopefully he can start this week in a tough matchup against Port Adelaide. Tom Green has been fantastic. He's rising in price, which is great. He's putting up good scores, and I just don't see me trading him really anytime soon. He could potentially be a keeper the way everything's going. He's averaging, what's he averaging? He'd be averaging around that 110-ish mark, I think, to start the year. 109.8, so he's been fantastic, and hopefully he continues. Finn Callaghan, 88, as I mentioned before, great score. I traded Warple over him because Warple was how I got Stewart. If I traded Callaghan, I would have got myself maybe a Liam Baker or a Cozzy Pickett or someone, but Callaghan put up a good score, so I'm pretty happy with holding him. And Hawthorn this week, hopefully will put up another good score, but I will probably still look to get rid of him within the next 2 weeks if I can. But yeah, very good performance from him last week. And then Ashcroft, McKenzie, Hollands all doing their thing. Obviously Ashcroft doing the best with 76, but all three of them pumping out 50 plus scores, and that's pretty much what we want from them at this point. They're the best three sort of in terms of job security, I think, besides your Sheasels and Ginbys. They're probably the top five, and yeah, they're looking great. So Holland's probably the one that you could probably move on first, and McKenzie's probably also nearing a trade as well. They've got break even of 23 for McKenzie and 24 for Holland, so they may be moved on at some point. But yep, they're still doing their thing. Obviously, Wilmot Count I missed before, but they're just doing their thing on the bench. Same with Davey, just sort of ticking over. They're probably not going to make a huge amount of cash in the next few weeks. Obviously, I think Wilmot obviously got the 66 and was looking like he might get some more cash gem, but with only a 36 last week, break even to 19 may not make as much cash as maybe what we may have anticipated before last week. Ryan Marshall looked good for 3 and a bit quarters, then got subbed out. I can understand why St Kilda did it with their injury list, and they've got so many guys injured, but a bit annoying if you did have him captain. And if I didn't have Led captain, I would have gone a Taranto or Bont. If I heard that the rumours of Witts being out, I probably would have pivoted to a Marshall captain. But yeah, 107, I guess, was probably better than your Lairds and Docherty's and Dunkley's captains anyway. So it wasn't the worst in the end, but could have been a lot bigger. That's probably what sucks for coaches. Sean Darcy, 92. Again, solid score. Just doesn't help when the other guy that I looked at or would have been R1, Tim English, putting up 145 points. So yeah, not great there. Josh Dunkley, bit of a concern. That's now 3 scores under 100 to start the year. Hard matchups to start the year. I'm hoping with easier games to come, he can start pumping out some big scores starting hopefully this week against North Melbourne, but we're going to have to see. It hasn't been a good start for him and Dunkley, him and Laird, and even Docherty now going down. The 3 pillars of strength, yeah, they're not quite as strong as what I thought they were going to be, and what a lot of coaches thought they were going to be. So Connor Rosie, tagged by Rowbottom, and Sydney at the SCG, tough matchup. Still got to essentially a 70, so not the worst in the world. Could have, obviously, you would have preferred him to go 90, 95 plus, but yeah, it's okay. He'll be better this week and going forward. So Errol Gould, 95. Pretty happy with that, considering it's against Port Adelaide, restrictive team. I'll take a 95. Had about 40% CBAs as well, which is also pretty decent. So yeah, 95, not bad. Zeeble, 100, very good after I brought him in last week for 78 to get 100, and he looks good. He's got the role. He's great, and I think he'll be around the top 6 to 10 defenders. So when he gets DPP, him and Sheasel with a 119, when both them get DPP, be able to chuck him in defence and yeah, leave them there, and they'll be doing good things. So yeah, Zeeble, very good, and as I said, Sheasel, just amazing. Cade Chandler doing his thing as well, 64, 41 points in the second half, so I was able to get more involved after a quiet first half. But yeah, I think he's still fine to play at F6 for the time being. Pedler as well, obviously will come back hopefully in this week for the Crows. Was good before he was suspended. And Philippou as well, with Membry potentially coming back this week, could see a little bit more midfield time. Got a few CBAs on the weekend. I think someone said, Ross Lyons said that they were going to play more midfield on the weekend. If Membry comes back, I think that's going to be only more opportunity in the midfield. So yeah, I do like him moving forward, and hopefully he'll make a bit more cash. So he's got a break even of 22. So if he can put a few 60s now back to back, it could really start with kick-starting some more cash gen. And then Jacob Van Ruin as well, obviously with a 48 there. Not too bad. So yeah, not a great round. Hopefully we can bounce back this week with some good performers. Oh, a little bit tired here. It doesn't help when you record the whole content and then have to re-record it again. But there you go, some interesting experiences. So let's get through the trade talk then, and let's have a look at who the most traded in and out players are, and then my top 5 picks for the week. So Nick Dakos, 7.8k coaches have brought him in this week. I think he's the most logical replacement for Docherty if you don't have him. A lot of people do. He was over 50% owned before this week. He's now up at 56%, and that's only going to continue to rise. Could be close to 60% by the time the week comes and goes. He's just a great option. He's looked good in the first 4 games. Brisbane at the Gabba, we thought it was going to be a tough matchup. Dakos said, that's all good. I'll just do my thing. So 126 points, and that was with a quarter with only 1 disposal, 1 tackle. So 7 points. He scored, 119 and 3 quarters. He's just an absolute jet, and he'll continue to be a top sort of 2 to 3 defender the way he's going. So, yeah, I like him as an option. He's the guy I'm looking at this week for me. If you've already got Nick Dakos, Jordan Dawson is also a very good option. 5.1k coaches are bringing him in. I like what I saw on the weekend. 122 points playing the midfield. Matthew Nick said that they want to keep him in the midfield and around the ball. So that looks like that is a role that's going to sort of continue moving forward. And he's also going back and taking some kick-ins, going back, taking a few +6s. If that's the case, he's got the perfect role, and he's a great option. So if you've already got a Dakos, I do like Dawson as the next option. Mitch Duncan, a few people jumping on him, 4.2k coaches. Him being a little bit older, the injury history, his 840k is not cheap. If it was cheaper, there'd be a bit more of a conversation, but he's expensive. I'm not sure I'd go down that path. I think Dakos and Dawson, if you don't have either of them, I'd prefer them. I'd even prefer Tom Stewart, who is next on the sort of 5th on the list here, 3.4k coach bring him. I'd rather him instead, saving that 107k, I think it is. I think Tom Stewart's 733 from memory? Yep, 733. 107k you're saving. I'd rather do that and pick Tom Stewart. Sandwiched in between them is a guy that will be playing against both these guys this week, Jaden Hunt. 3 scores in a row over 80, including that 95 last week. Had a 65-point half, so bit of a concern that he only had a 30-point half, but that was really when Melbourne took the game over and they really started beating West Coast and controlling the game. So I do like him as an option. Break him into 14. He's going to make cash, and he is a guy that I'm considering potentially bringing in this week if a few things go to plan, which I'll talk about in a second with my trades. Clayton Oliver, I just couldn't advise anyone paying 1.06 million. I've done it in the past. I've paid top dollar for people like a Bailey Smith last year, and I thought, there's no way that he's going to fail, and poor scores come. Obviously, was suspended. Oliver's a different player. I think he's a lot more consistent, as we've seen over a number of years. But if you could realistically go Docherty or Oliver if you've got the flexibility, because you lose a captain option in Docherty, you get one Oliver, and he's the best player at the moment in the comp. But it's a lot of money. You could save like 150 odd K and get a Josh Kelly, who's probably just as good a captain option this week against Hawthorn, and you can use that money next week to upgrade. But I can't really knock anyone that wants to pay up for Oliver. He's been fantastic, and if he keeps going up 120 plus, people that don't have him aren't going to be able to afford him. And if you can get him now when people can't afford him, that could be a move. But I wouldn't advise paying that much for him. Lockie Weller, a few people jumping on him. He's shown in the past he can put a few nice games together, and then he can go missing for a few games and put up some 60. So I wouldn't go near him personally. What is he? 720. Yeah, 724. That's expensive. If he was in the 600s or something, or even cheaper, then maybe it could be an option, but that's a bit expensive for my liking. Danny Rioli, I would prefer if you've got the extra, 60 odd? Yeah, about 60 odd K. Again, I'll prefer Stewart over Rioli, but Rioli has got a good role, and he's looked good so far this year. A couple of hundreds, I think an 80 and a 90, so he's averaging 100, so he's looking good, and if you want to pay him, he's a good pot option. I don't mind him. Tim English, if you can afford him, 969k is ridiculously expensive, but if you can get up to him, I do like it. I prefer, if you've got an Ancovis, for example, I'd just go straight to English. I wouldn't worry about Grundy. Gorn's only a couple of weeks away. I'd prefer English over Darcy. If you've already got English, I'd get Marshall. And if you've already got Marshall and you can't afford English, oh, wow. Apologies. And if you can't afford English, then I would go Sean Darcy, I think would be my next option there. Trent Rivers is a cheaper option as well. A few coaches are jumping on. I just haven't seen the consistency from him to really look at him as an option. He's got a good run coming up. He's cheap enough at, 594, 594. yeah, I'd prefer other options. I think I'd prefer Jaden Hunt if you don't have him. And if not, I'd prefer probably some other options. I'm just not sure. He's the sort of pick that I could just see crash and burn a little bit. Josh Fay, if he gets named, 1.4k coach are jumping on him already. If he gets named, he'd be a good downgrade option. I still like to wait a week on these 200k rooks, but if he comes in, you need the cash. I don't mind jumping early. Tim Kelly as well, a little bit of a trap for me. He's shown the past he put some huge games together, then he's just as likely to get a 60 this week, so I wouldn't. And a few people bringing in Will Day. Interesting. When he's suspended for 2 weeks, so those 1.3k coaches are going to have to reverse that because he will not, very likely won't be playing this week unless somehow they overturn it at the tribunal. If they even challenge it, they might not challenge it. They might just accept the whack and move on. Jeremy Cameron as well. A few people jumping on him. Who would have thought he would be the premium forward option that we needed? Averaging 115. West Coast this week. Depleted West Coast back line. Could go huge once again. So, again, he's expensive. I couldn't advise paying for a key forward. 862Ks. He's, as I said, he's been great. 300s in a row, and 2 of them have been huge. But, yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't get a key forward. I don't think. Moving to the most traded out players, so Sam Docherty over 23k coach are trading him out, which is obviously a must. 4 to 6 weeks he'll be out for, so yeah, you have to move him on. He's a lot of money as well, so yeah, definite trade out for me. Will Day, 6.4k coach. Again, just keep it on the news if he's only out for a week, or even if he's gets off completely if they challenge it. Again, we don't know. By the time this recording, you would have already known if he's going to challenge it or what they're going to do. But if he's out for 2 weeks, I think it's a trade. I couldn't hold him for 2 weeks, even though I could potentially with the few trade options I'm doing. But if he's out for 2 weeks, I'll be trading him. James Warple, 2.4k coach are jumping off him. If you've got the luxury to jump off of him, I would be doing that. Just, you don't want to get caught with these mid-prices and hold them. I've still got McGrath and Callahan and maybe even a Stocker. Obviously, Stocker was good last week, but if he starts putting up some poor scores, that's 3 mid-prices. If forced trades start coming week on week, we've got 2 this week. Who's to say we're not going to get another couple next week? Coaches have had forced trades each week. You don't want to be caught with these mid-prices. So if you can get off Warple this week, I would be still doing it. Charlie even though he might get some CBAs if Will Day's out. Charlie Constable, not even in the team. 2.3k coaches have still got him in the side. So yeah, definitely move him on. He had 35 touches in the VFL. Brendan Ellis also played a half in there as well. He's going to come in before Constable. I don't know if Constable's going to break back into the side, so I'll be trading him out. Andrew McGrath, 2k coach of trading him out. Again, I can definitely understand that. 65 last week, poor again. Hasn't gone over 90 so far this year. I'm hoping this is the week he does. Apparently there's meant to be a bit of rain as well in Adelaide on Saturday, so maybe not. But yeah, just been disappointing. A lot of us coaches, including obviously myself, because I started with him, could have gone to Dakos instead, and that's cost us a lot of points. So I'm ranked outside top 10k. If I just had, again, I could say this, if I went power down instead of a rookie, and then I went Dakos instead of McGrath and English instead of Darcy, I'd be in a lot better position. But we could all do that. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. But yeah, McGrath, if you can move him on, I would. I'd still move a Warple before him, unless you can't get Warple to the play you want and McGrath gets you there. Then that could be what you do. But Campbell Chesser, I wouldn't be moving him on. 1.8k coaches are. I just think he's not worth enough, and he's going to come back in the side at some point anyway. Yeah, and he could be important for the next couple of weeks if you're looping on a rookie and looping on a couple of rookies. Could be good as a loophole. A lot of the games are late on Saturdays or late on Sundays, so there is a good chance that you'll have 2 players playing before him and you'll be able to loop him. So I'd still keep him. Rory Laird, 1.5k coach have given him the boot. He's just been poor to start the year. I couldn't trade him out because the thing is he's already dropped in price. He's priced at what? 925k. That puts him priced at what? Roughly around that, 107 range? Maybe 108, somewhere around that range. I think he goes that for rest of the year. I think he goes 110, 115. Poor start to the year, but I just couldn't trade him out personally. Maybe that's just because the bias there, but I just don't think you can trade your premiums out now. I think that time's gone. We're trying to move into upgrade season, even though this week is probably going to be fix-up trades with your Dochertys and Days and fixing up bullets, but I wouldn't be trading Laird, even if you have got I'm sure you've got someone else worse in your team than Laird. Alwyn Davey Jr., I'm happy to. He's probably the rookie on the bench. I'll be happy to move on. Break even of 23. He scored 39 last week, so I don't think there's that much more cash to make. He's got some tough games coming up as well. If you don't have maybe a Day or a Docherty, and you can go him down to a rookie and then go someone up on the other end, then that is definitely something that you could look at doing. I'd be happy to move off of him. Toby Curvis, obviously a few coaches who jumped on him. He's been so good this year. 400s in a row to start the year. One of the 7 players in the ton run. You just have to move off him. Unfortunately, he's going to be out for, I think, 6 to 8 weeks with surgery, obviously with the bloody Sidon. So he'll be out. And if you can get to English, as I said, get him. If you've already got English, Marshall. If you've got Marshall, can't afford English, you get Darcy. I think it's just as simple as that. It's those 3. Josh Dunkley, a few coaches jumping off him. As I said, I'm a bit concerned, but I'm hoping with these easier games that he can put up some good scores. So I wouldn't be moving off him. I'm sure you've got probably other issues. A lot of people got Docherty and Day and Warples and McGraths and Constables and guys like that. So I'll be moving them on first. Jared Witts, a few people jumping off him, but again, just make sure that he is playing or isn't playing first before you move off of him. If he's playing, I'd keep him regardless. So if he is out, you obviously trade. And as I said with Nank, you do probably the 3 things I said. So Tom Mitchell as well, a few coaches jumping off him. I probably would as well. It's just the scoring's a bit inconsistent. He's just not consistently getting that 100-plus score that we would have liked him to. We wanted him more 105, but yeah, just in the role he's in, I just don't see it being consistent. So I'll be moving off of him as well. So my top 5 targets for the week. Again, this is sort of based, as Pete sort of said, on the Plus 6 pod, Pete and Jep say, assuming you don't have any. So I'm sort of going to say, assuming you don't have any of these 5, these are my top 5 targets that I'd be looking at for the week. So I think number 1 is Nick Dakos. I think he's the most logical switch from Docherty to Dakos. He's been so good this year, and I think he's just going to continue. If he coughs attention this week against St Kilda, he may put a lower score still. I think he's just shown the ability that he can get thrown in the midfield, get thrown up forward. Craig McRae said that we want to put Nick in positions where he can help the team out, and if Nick's getting tagged, he's got no effect on the game. It's not helping Collingwood. They're going to move him forward. They're going to move him in the midfield, which can maybe help him escape the tag and get involved in the game. So I don't really have too much of an issue bringing him in, even with tags. And if he doesn't get a tag against St Kilda, he's going to go nuts because we know what St Kilda have given up to defenders. So, yep, I like him at number 1. Number 2, John Dawson. So people following here, number 1 and 2 most traded in. I think they're my number 1 and 2. John Dawson, if you've got Dakos, I think he's, again, probably the next best one to get from go Docherty down to get him. You bank yourself about 60-odd K as well, which isn't too bad. 62K, I think it is. And, yeah, midfield role, as I said, going down back, he's got essentially the perfect role. And, yep, great option to be grabbing if you have already got Dakos. Number 3, I think I'd be putting Jaden Hunt for the value because of the low break even as well. So if you've only got one of Dale Docherty and you want to go Jinby to a Hunt, I like that move. Hunt's going to make more cash. He's not a rookie. He's not really much at risk of being rested or managed like a Jinby potentially could be. That's a move I'm looking at as well, even with Day and Docherty. So Jaden Hunt's probably number 3 for me. Number 4 would be Tom Stewart for the value. Again, I would prefer him over Duncan. You're saving yourself 107k, and Tom Stewart doesn't have the injury history that Duncan does, even though Stewart has had a few niggles here and there. Obviously missed a few games with that knee injury. And yeah, always finds a way to maybe to miss a game or two, but he's got a ceiling. He's looked great. Like last week, not last week, the week before against Gold Coast. Last week, not as much, but West Coast this week, good matchup. I think he will give you a good sugar hit this week with a good score. So that was 4. So number 5 is tough. There's a few options that you could consider. I don't mind a Cozzy Pickett up forward at still 592, still cheap. Got a good run next 5 with Essendon this week. Then he's got Richmond, then North, then Gold Coast and Hawthorn. So I like the run, low break even. If you're looking for a forward, I do like him as an option. The other probably couple I'd consider, if you don't have Tim English and you can pay up for him, I think he's essentially a must-have at this point. He's just scoring amazing, averaging 122. It's ridiculous how well he's going. He's been fantastic. And then the other one I don't mind as well. I don't know how far he is down this list. A fair bit is not brought in by many coaches, I don't think. So I'm actually just going to have a look to see. I could type his name, but I like the suspense. How many coaches? Wow. Okay, maybe I might have to search them. There he is, Lockie Whitfield. I don't mind him as an option. Only 183 coaches bringing him in, but He's probably going to get defender status next week at 741, is it? Or is he lower? 731. He's cheap, and we know what he can do. Obviously, he has this ability to somehow miss games and whatever. But Hawthorn this week, I don't think he'll get the tag. I think that will go to Josh Kelly, if anything. I like him as an option, and I'm looking at that as well. So that probably leads into what I'm doing with my trades at this stage. So Docherty to Dakos is locked in, I think, for me. That'll have to be locked in before Thursday because Docherty obviously gets locked out in that first game. At the moment, I'm going Will Day to Lachie Whitfield, but a lot of it depends on what happens with the rookies. So I've got Lachie Cowan, Ollie Hollands, and Luke Pedler on my bench. I don't think Luke Pedler really matters because I don't think I've got a red dot in my forward line unless I was to bring in a Samson Ryan or something. So if Luke Pedler was to go and get a 90 plus score, that would change dramatically what my trades would be. But because that's probably not going to happen. If Cowan was to go and score really well, I would probably hold Will Day and I'd go Jimby to a Hunt instead and get rid of a rookie who potentially could be managed the next couple of weeks and bring in Hunt who's going to make cash. That's a move that I'm looking at. And then probably the only other one I'm looking at is maybe a Liam Stocker to a Cozzy Pickett to make some money there. So they're the three moves I'm looking at. And obviously, as I said, if Pedler goes huge, then that would change the trades. But that's a good thing about having them looping them on in the first game. So I've got Chester as well to loop either Hollands or Cowan on field if I want to do that. So that's what I'm looking like at doing at this stage. So they're my trades. And I don't see them changing much besides, well, then again, there's three options, so they're not set. But yeah, there you go. So that's what I'm doing. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are looking at doing with your moves this week. If you've got any other questions or anything like that, leave them in the comments below, and I'll get to all of those when I can. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Bottom right-hand corner, only takes 2 clicks, and you're done, and you subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate all the support. I think we're on 858, so we're 142 away. We're edging closer and closer each video, which is obviously fantastic to see. Appreciate everyone's support they've shown to start the season and since the channel's been going. So yeah, hopefully we can hit 1,000 really soon. That'd be fantastic. Turn notifications on so you miss when I go live or upload any other content in the future. There won't be any watch longs this week, so I'll be obviously at a lot of the Gather Round games. I'll be there Thursday night, I'll be there Friday night. As long as the weather is fine, I'll be there Saturday for the 2 games, and then I'll probably want to go Sunday to that Collingwood-St Kilda game maybe as well. So, yeah, I'll be no watch-alongs, obviously Friday, Saturday night, because I'll be there a lot. And, yeah, daily news recap will be up shortly after this video goes up, so stay tuned for that, for all the news wrapping up of obviously Thursday teams coming out as well. And yeah, and then we'll be obviously with the Twitter space Friday before the Freo Gold Coast game. Me and Tim guest on AFL Fantasy Fanatics. So make sure you go and follow that on Twitter and wherever you get your podcasts. Also, my social media links in the description below. Make sure you go and follow all those and do all that good stuff. So anyway, until the next video, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Cheers.